Okay. So guys, in previous class, I mean in yesterday class, we discussed one thing that is called OSI model. In OSI model, I already explained you what is OSI model, why we need any types of model. Before OSI model, what was the problem, and how we are solving this problem by the help of OSI model. After that, we discussed how many layers in the OSI model. Total, there are 7 layers in the OSI model, from application layer to physical layer, layer 1, right? And in previous class, I already explained you how our packet will encapsulate and how actually our packet will decapsulate. Fine. And basically, OSI model help us to encapsulate the packet and decapsulate the packet. On every layer, there is something attaching, something detaching, right? So basically, that is something about the OSI model. In day before the previous class, we already discussed about the packet flow. In the packet flow, I already explained you, for example, at layer number 3, when you are generating the ICMP packet, how actually your packet is going encapsulate. Layer 3, layer 2, layer 1, right? How at layer number 3, IP header is attaching, how at layer number 2, Ethernet header is attaching, right? So these things we already discussed many times. And in yesterday class, we also discussed about the TCP and UDP also, right? I explain you one example. For example, if you are using the telnet, telnet is the layer number 7 protocol, right? So when you guys are using the telnet, the packet will encapsulate like this: layer 7, layer 6, layer 5. Then this packet will come at the layer number 4. At layer number 4, there are two types of protocol, that is called TCP and UDP. So one protocol will use either TCP or UDP. And I already told you telnet is the protocol that use TCP at layer number 4. What guys? TCP at layer number 4. Clear? And in yesterday class, I already explained you what are the content in the TCP header and what is the use of every content in the TCP header, right? For example, if you are using the DHCP, if you are using DHCP protocol, so you know DHCP is the layer number 7 protocol. DHCP is layer number 7 protocol. So in the same way, DHCP will encapsulate the packet like layer 7 hand over to the 6, 6 hand over to the 5, 5 hand over to the 4. Getting my point? Now at 4, again there will be a two protocol, TCP and UDP. So in case of DHCP use UDP, not TCP, right? And I already explained you in the yesterday class what are the content in the UDP header. Clear? So guys, basically the thing is, these are the things we already discussed in yesterday class. Clear? Today I'm going to show you exactly this is happening or not. Today I'm going to show you exactly that this is happening or not. Clear? So guys, in this small lab, what I'm going to show you, here I'm going to configure guys telnet. What? Here I'm going to configure telnet. For example, that is our server. This device is our server. Here I'm going to configure telnet. Fine. And from this device, I will do the telnet. What is telnet? First of all, you need to understand. Telnet is nothing. Telnet is the protocol by which you can take the access of other devices. For example, if I configure the telnet here, and if you are sitting here, you can take the access of this device. Clear na? That is called telnet. So basically in a networking, generally we are doing telnet or SSH. Both are same. The uses are same. By the help of telnet, by the help of SSH, you are just taking the control of other devices. You are just taking the remote of other devices. Getting my point? But telnet is not secure. SSH is secure. Clear na? But right now we are discussing the telnet. So what I will do guys, here I will configure the telnet, and from this machine, I will take the remote of this device. Clear? And I will show you how actually that when we configure the telnet, how actually the packet will encapsulate. And basically my agenda is to show you the TCP header. Clear guys? Everyone, I hope you guys understand. Clear? So I come to this router. Go to the CLI. And in CLI, first of all, everyone focus how we are configuring the telnet. Clear? Guys, first of all, see one thing. That is router. That is the console of router. Clear? In router, there are 3 modes. In router CLI, there are 3 mode. This is the first mode, right? This is the first mode. I hope you guys are able to see. See how the thing is written here. Router and then greater than sign. It means that is called which, that is the one mode, right? Now that is called one mode, or you can say that is called user mode. Clear na? Now the next mode is called, guys, privilege mode. Next mode is called privilege mode. How can we move from user mode to privilege mode? The command is enable. When I write enable, see, now we are in which mode, guys? Privilege mode, right? In privilege mode, generally, if you want to show anything, for example, if I want to show on interface, is there any IP address configured? Then where I can see, we can see in the privilege mode. Getting my point? So please remember, generally in the privilege mode, we can run the show command directly. Which command? Show command. For example, I want to check on which interface what IP address is configured. The command is show IP interface brief. So when I write show IP interface brief, now see, there is no need to write full command. There is no need to write full command. So what I write? So IP, I do not write the complete interface. I write INTERF, that's all. And I didn't write the brief. I just write the BR. Getting my point? So basically in the networking, when you guys are going to work on the CLI, maximum time you do not need to run the complete command. Clear na? So that is the first thing. And for example, here I am write exit. And right now we are in which mode, guys? User mode. And I want to go in the privilege mode. What is the command I told you? Enable. So either you can write complete ENABLE, enable, and then press enter. Fine, that is the first way. Or if you do not want to write the complete enable, you just write EN. That's all. You move in the privilege mode. Getting my point, everyone? Like this. Understand? One more thing. For example, if you know enable and if you don't know what is the exact word for that command, so I write the enable and I press the tab button in my laptop. What? Tab button in my laptop. When I press the tab button, see, it automatically take the command. Getting my point? That is the way generally we are working on the CLI. Clear, guys? I hope you guys understand. Done. Now see, when I write that command, so IP interface brief. What is this? There are on this router, there are two interface, gig 0 by 0 and gig 0 by 1. Right? So on gig 0 by 0, IP address is not assigned. IP address is unassigned. Right now, there is no IP address assigned. Similarly on gig 0 by 1 and similarly on gig 0 by 2. It means on none of the interface, any IP address is configured here on this router. Clear, guys? Understand? Method is also unset. Status is also down. Getting my point? Understand, guys? I hope you guys understand. Clear? Now, this is the privilege mode. Here, generally, we are writing the show command. I hope you guys understand. Here, we are writing the show command. Show IP ARP. I write this command. By the help of this command, we can check the ARP table. Clear na? So, whatever the show command you have, you can write here in privilege mode. Done? Now, the next mode is called, guys, global configuration mode. Clear? What is the use of global configuration mode? If you want to configure anything on the router globally, if you want to configure anything on the router globally, you can configure in the global configuration mode. Clear? Now, again, I told you one line. If you want to configure anything globally, please understand this word, globally. Now, what do you mean by globally and what do you mean by non-globally? See here, this is the router. For example, this is the interface. Clear na? Now, if I want to configure anything, that will reflect on every places, no matter you are in which mode. Getting my point? That means the globally. Clear na? Understand? For example, I change the name of this router. For example, I change the name of this router Shubham. So what will happen? You are in the interface. At that time also routers, you guys are able to see the name is Shubham. Getting my point? No matter you are in the which mode, you guys are able to see this name. Clear na? That means you configure this globally. Clear? And for example, if you configure the IP address on this interface, it means that the IP address which you configured here, that is called local. You configure this IP address here on this interface, not globally. Getting my point? For example, globally means whatever the things you configure on the router, that will implement, that will be visible every places of the router. Clear na? That means the globally. Clear, guys? Everyone. Now, see, now I want to go in the global configuration mode. How can we go in the global configuration mode? The command is, please focus on the command, TON. I don't know what is this. I just press the tab button, but still I'm not getting anything. Now I press the F. Now see, I getting my point. So what is the command, guys? Configure terminal. So you need to write configure terminal. When I write the configure terminal here in the privilege mode, I immediately move in the global configuration mode. Clear, guys? So this is the command by which you can move in the from privilege mode to global configuration mode. Done, everyone? Yes or no? And in global configuration mode, you can configure anything on the router. Clear? For example, for example, that is gig 0 by 0. If you want to assign the IP address on gig 0 by 0, you do not need to configure the IP address globally. And we are not configuring the IP address globally. We always configure the IP address on the interface. Clear na? So if you want to configure anything on the interface, it means you need to move in the interface mode. You need to go in the interface mode. How can you go? For example, I am planning to go in the interface gig 0 by 0. So what is the command? Interface gig 0 by 0. See, now what is this? Router config if. So if you are able to see this one, if, it means you are in the interface mode. Which mode, guys? Interface mode. And if you guys are able to see only config, it means you are in the configuration mode. I hope this is clear to all of you. Done? Now, what is our task? I'm going to change the name of this router. So what is the command? Host name. And for example, I am writing Shubham. Yes. See, now what is the name of this router? Shubham. Now change. Now, for example, I am in interface gig 0 by 0. I am in which mode? I am in the interface mode, but still this name is there. Still this name is there. It means the name that I configured here in the global configuration mode, that configured globally on this router. That configured globally on this router, no matter you are in which mode. For example, I exit. I am in the user mode, but see, still the name is there. I am in the user mode, but still this name is there. I write enable. See, this mode is there. I write the conf t. This name is there. I write the interface gig 0 by 0. At every places, the router's name is same. It means the name which I configured here in the global configuration mode, that configured globally here. Understand? I hope you guys understand. Done. Now guys, I am going to configure here, guys, telnet. Clear na? So what is the command? How can we configure the telnet? Please focus here. You need to configure username. For example, I am writing username admin. Then I am writing password. For example, password. I am writing password Cisco. What is the password, guys? I set the password Cisco. So please remember, username is admin, password is Cisco. You need to configure this one. After that, you need to configure line VTY 04. Oh, sorry, 04. Fine. Then, guys, login local. This is the command, login local. Then, guys, transport input and then telnet. This is the command you need to configure. Then you need to set again password. Password input. Password. I am writing password. For example, telnet. I set this password. Telnet password. Clear. Exit. Done. So this is the way I configure the telnet here on this router. Clear. Now see very carefully. I configure here what, guys? Telnet. What I configure here? Telnet. But still the interface is down. What we need to do? We need to configure the interface, guys. Interface gig 0 by 0. Interface gig 0 by 0. On this interface, I need to assign the IP address. How can we assign the IP address on the router interface, guys? The command is IP address. After that, guys, for example, if you are not able to understand the command, if you don't know the command, so there is the option. Just press the question mark here. So when you press the question mark, it will suggest you what you need to do. Clear now? What I press the question mark, it is asking me ABCD IP address. It is telling me after that you need to write the IP address. I'm not going to configure here DHCP, so please ignore it. So please focus on ABCD. It is telling me to write the IP address. For example, here I am writing 10.0.0.2 or 1. 10.0.0.1. After that, what I need to write, I do not know. Again, I press the question mark. It is telling me, please write the subnet mask. What is subnet mask? We will discuss these things later. But for example, here I am writing 255.0.0.0. After that, question mark. CR means no need to do anything. Just press enter. Clear, guys? So by this way, I configure the IP address on the router gig 0 by 0 interface. Now, after that, please remember, all the interface of the router by default is in the shutdown state. In which state, guys? Shutdown state. Clear na? So if you are configuring on the router, you must need to write the no shutdown command. Which command? No shutdown command. But in case of switch, you do not need to do, because by default, all the interface of the switch is in up state. Clear na? So I'm writing here no shut. So either you write the complete shutdown or either you write only shut. That's all. Done. Exit. So by this way, I configure the IP address here on this router. Now see, what is the color here? Green color is this. It means this port is now up. Clear, guys? Everyone, I hope you guys understand. Done. Now, come to this router. On this router again, you need to assign the IP address. Then you will be able to take the telnet, right? Go to the global configuration mode. Here I'm writing interface gig 0 by 0 IP address 10.0.0.2 255.0.0.0 and no shutdown. So by this way, I configure the IP address here. Done. Now, right now in the packet tracer, we are in the simulation, sorry, real time mode, right? We need to go in the simulation mode. Then I can show you the packet. Done. Na? Understand? Let me see. Is everything is fine? Yes, telnet, SSH, TCP, UDP. Fine, fine, fine. Okay. Now I go to this router. I am writing telnet 10.0.0.1. So when I write guys telnet 10.0.0.1, see this router generate one packet. Let me open this packet. See here. Everyone see very, very, very carefully. Now, I hope you guys are able to see this is the TCP packet. Right now, I told you, this is the telnet. If you guys are using the telnet is the protocol that use TCP at layer number 4. What guys? TCP at layer number 4. Getting my point? So that's the reason we are able to see here which packet? TCP packet. Clear na? In the previous class, I already told you source port number, destination port number. Source port number is the random port number. Source port number is the random port number. I already told you, right? Destination port number will be the port number of services that you are using. You are using telnet. So for telnet use port number 23, right? So that's the reason here port number 23 is there. Fine. That is the sequence number. That is the acknowledgement number. I already told you, right? After that, guys, here see offset, right? I told you, this is something. What is the use of data offset? What is the use of data offset? I told you it specifies the length of TCP header, right? Now reserved bit is 0. That is flag. I told you there are multiple flag in the TCP packet. For example, urgent flag, acknowledgement flag, push flag, reset flag, SYN flag. SYN means synchronized flag. Fin means finished flag, right? So basically there are multiple types of flag in the TCP header. Clear? Now this is the window size. That is guys, window size. What is the use of window size? It basically specifies the size of received buffer and in byte. Getting my point? So that is the use of window size. Next one is checksum. I already told you what is the use of checksum. It basically provides the integrity, right? Now, next one is guys urgent pointer field. Basically, it prioritizes the urgent data. For example, if you want to send any data or if you want to process any data on the immediate basis, so urgent pointer field will on. Getting my point? Now, the next one will be guys option. What is option? Right now? So option is nothing because I told you options generally we are using when we have a concept of MSS, right? Now, guys, next one is data. Data is what? Data means the complete payload, right? That is payload of TCP segment. Getting my point, everyone? So basically, guys, these are the thing in the TCP packet. Clear? So I want to show you these things. If you are using the telnet use the TCP. Telnet use the TCP. Clear, guys? I hope you guys understand. Done? Clear, guys? Now, leave it. Now, here we configure what, guys? Here, between this router and this router, we configure here telnet. We configure here telnet, right? And if you configure telnet, what you understand? What you understand? If we configure telnet, it use TCP at layer number 4. This is the thing we see here. Clear, guys? When we configure the telnet, we are able to see telnet use the TCP packet. Clear? I hope this is clear to all of you, right? So now, when I write the command telnet 10.0.0.1, what it is asking? What it is asking? It is asking me the username and password. It is asking me what? It is asking me username and password. What is the username we set here? We set the username admin. And what is the password? Password we set Cisco. See, when I write the username and password, now I am on which router? I am on router number 5. It means I am on this router. But see the console. Now I am able to take the console of this which devices? This device's console I have. It means from this device, I can configure anything here on this router. From this device, I can configure anything on this router. That is the use of telnet. Clear? So by this way, guys, we can configure the telnet. I hope you guys understand. Done. And when you configure the telnet, it use basically what? It use the TCP header. It use, guys, TCP at layer number 4. Clear? Now guys, here between these two devices, I am going to use here DHCP. I am going to use DHCP. Clear? Now again, I have one question. What is the use of DHCP? What is the use of DHCP? Who can tell me? Guys, for example, if you have a PC, how can you assign the IP address on this PC? There are two ways by which we can assign the IP address on the PC. First one, manually, and second one, logically. Manually means, how can we assign the IP address manually? Go to the PC, desktop, IP configuration, here write the IP address. So by this way, we can assign the IP address on the PC. That method is called manual method. Clear na? But if I want, this PC will take the IP address logically, automatically. In this case, we need to configure, we have a concept of DHCP. Clear na? So DHCP is a server. DHCP, guys, DHCP is just like a server where we have multiple number of IP address. We have multiple number of IP address. Getting my point? And DHCP is responsible to provide the IP address automatically to the device. Automatically to the device. Getting my point? That is the use of DHCP. Clear? Understand? So guys, see here on this PC right now, there is no IP address. On this PC, there is no IP address. Clear? And see here, guys, there is two options on this PC, static and DHCP. Clear? Right now, static is enabled here. DHCP is not enabled. Why? Because in my network right now, DHCP is not configured. Getting my point? If this is not configured, then why I enable the DHCP? There is no use, right? So first of all, what I'm trying to do, first of all, I will configure the DHCP here on this router. Then I will enable the DHCP here. Then I will enable the DHCP here. And after that, this PC will automatically get the IP address. Clear, guys? Understand? Now come to this router. On this router, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to configure, guys, DHCP. I'm going to configure, guys, DHCP. Clear? So see here, what is the command and how we configure the DHCP? Please see very carefully. The first command, I need to write IP DHCP pool. IP DHCP pool. Guys, first of all, for example, if you want to configure the DHCP, first of all, you need to create the pool. You need to create the pool. What is the use of pool? For example, if you create the pool, for example, if you assign the IP address, one network here. For example, if you are telling 192.168.1.0/24, if you configure this network as a pool, getting my point? So for example, if in this network, there are 254 IP address, if you perform the subnetting, you guys will understand in this network ID, for example, the total number of IP address is possible around 254. It means DHCP will provide the IP address from this pool. Getting my point? DHCP is not going to provide the IP address 192.168.2 dot something. No. Whatever the pool you will configure on the DHCP, DHCP will provide the IP address from that pool. Clear? So basically, that is the use of pool. So basically, pool is the collection of multiple IP address that DHCP is going to use to provide the IP address to the client. Right? That is the server and that is the client. So if this client need the IP address, DHCP will provide the IP address from the pool that you configure here. Clear? So first of all, you need to write the name of pool. So IP DHCP pool. I'm writing the pool name, for example, Shubham. Done. I configure the pool name. After that, you need to configure the exact pool. Clear? Either you can write any IP address, either you can write any network. So generally, we are writing the network. So I'm writing network 192.168.1.0. Fine. After that, I press the question mark. It is telling me write down the network mask also. Clear? So I'm writing, guys, here 255.255.255.0. Fine. So basically, this is the way we configure the pool. Clear, guys? Everyone. Now, after that, guys, you need to configure here default router command. Clear na? Default router. Basically, default router means when these devices wants to get the IP address where this device needs to forward the packet. Getting my point? So this device needs to forward the packet towards the default router. Clear na? So you need to configure here default router. So what is the command? default router 192.168.1.1. 1.1. This is the default router I configure here. So default router is nothing. Whatever the IP address you configure here on this interface, that will be the default router. That will be the default router. Clear na? So here I am going to configure 192.168.1.1. Here I am going to configure 192.168.1.1. So that's the reason default router is 1.1. Clear? To assign IP address automatically, we use DHCP. Exactly. Now, after configure this one, guys, default router 192.168.1.1. For example, if you want to configure the DNS server IP address also, for example, this is the host, this is the client. If you want, when DHCP will provide the IP address to this client, DHCP should provide DNS server IP address also. So this one you can also configure in the DHCP. This one you can also configure in DHCP. I am writing command for DNS server. For example, I am telling my DNS server is 8.8.8.8. So I provide here DNS server 8.8.8.8 exit. So by this way, this is the proper configuration of DHCP. Clear, guys? So in this configuration, what are the things I configure? First, I configure the DHCP pool name. Second, I configure the pool, that is the pool. And third, I configure the default router. And in fourth, I configure the DNS server IP. Clear na? After that, just see here one thing, guys. What is the pool I configured here? 192.168.1.0. This is the pool, right? In this pool, what is the IP address there? It means from this pool, the IP address will start 192.168.1.1. IP address will start from this IP. Right now, from this pool, if you calculate, the IP address will start from here. But guys, tell me one thing. This IP address you already configured here on this interface, right? So just tell me, do you want this DHCP server will provide 192.168.1.1 IP address to any client device? Your answer will be no, because you should know this IP address you already configured here. You do not want DHCP should provide this IP address to any other device, right? So in this case, what is the solution? The solution is you need to reserve some IP address. You need to reserve some IP address. Getting my point? For example, if in your company there are some IT team is there, or for example, if in your company there are, the best example is, for example, there are some finance team, and in finance team, if they finance team are using any desktop machine, right? So generally on the desktop machine, the IP address is fixed. These IP address are not getting changed. Why? Due to the security reason. Clear na? So in this case, what you need to do? You need to reserve that IP address. You need to reserve that IP address. Getting my point? I hope you guys understand. So that's the reason on DHCP, guys, generally we are reserving some IP address as well. Clear? So now, what is the command and how we reserve the IP address? The command is IP DHCP excluded address. For example, whatever the address you want to exclude, you need to write here. If you want to exclude only one, you can write here 192.168.1.1. Getting my point? So if you want to exclude only this IP address, you can write here 192.168.1.1. But for example, if you want to exclude from 1.1 to 1.10, if there is a range, then what you need to do? So that is the starting point 192.168.1.1, and then you can write here 192.168.1.10. That's all. This is the command. It means now this DHCP is not going to assign the IP address from this client device will not get the IP address 192.168.1.4, 1.3, 1.2, 1.6, 1.9, 1.10. No. These IP address is now excluded. It means your client will receive the IP address from 192.168.1.11, not 10. Clear, guys? I hope this is clear to everyone. Done? Now, this is the command, guys. We write here. Done? Now, on this interface, still this interface is down. So you need to enable this interface, gig 0/1. So how? Same. Interface, gig 0/1. IP address 192.168.1.1 255.255.255.0 and no shutdown command. So by this way, I enable the interface as well. Clear, guys? I hope this is clear to all of you. So guys, by this way, I configure the complete DHCP here on this router. Now go to the PC. First of all, we need to enable the simulation mode. Clear? Now go to the PC, IP address. Right now static is there. I choose the DHCP. I choose the DHCP. When I choose the DHCP, see, PC number 1 generate one packet. PC number 1 generate packet, because guys, generally when you enable the DHCP follow one process. The name of that process is DORA process. What is DORA process? DORA process is not the part of our syllabus, but yes, please understand, DHCP follow the DORA process, and by the help of DORA process, this PC will get the IP address from DHCP. Clear? So in DORA process, basically DHCP exchange total 4 types of packet. Fine. And among all the 4 packets, this is the one of them. Clear? So let me open it. I open it. See here. Now, this is the Ethernet. This is the Ethernet. So it means that is the layer number 2. That is the IP. It means that is layer number 3. Clear? Layer 2, layer 3. Now, at layer number 4, what is the header? At layer number 4, what is the header, guys? At layer number 4, the header is UDP. The layer number 4, the header is UDP. Clear? Now, it's proof if we are using the telnet at layer number 4, the header was TCP, right? But if you are using the DHCP at layer number 4, the header is UDP. Clear, guys? So guys, that is the header of UDP. In UDP header, that is the source port number. That is the source port number, and that is the destination port number. That is the total length. That is the checksum. I already told you only there are 4 content inside the UDP header in previous class. Clear? So guys, that is the thing we need to discuss here in this lab. I hope you guys understand very well. Clear? Everyone? Yes or no? Is this clear to everyone? Yes. See, it exchanged the process. Total 4 packets they exchange. Now come to the PC. Now see, this PC get the IP address. What is the IP address here? 192.168.1.11. Because I already reserved from 192.168.1.1 to 10 is already reserved, right? So DHCP will provide the IP address 192.168.1.11. Clear, guys? That is the default gateway command. That is the default gateway command. Right now, on DHCP, you already run the command default router 192.168.1.1. On DHCP, you already run the command. For example, come here. See, when you see here in DHCP, you run this command default router 192.168.1.1. It means this IP address will be the default gateway for your client. Getting my point? So that's the reason. This one, 192.168.1.1, that is the default gateway here. Clear, guys? And you already configure here DNS. So that's the reason your client receive the DNS 8.8.8.8. Clear, guys? I hope you guys understand the complete DHCP, how DHCP works, and how actually when we configure the DHCP use UDP at layer number 4. If you use the telnet, it use the TCP at layer number 4. Clear? So guys, that is the thing. Now, okay. Now our topic is, guys, IP address. Come to IP address. Okay. The first thing about the IP address that we need to understand, what is the size of IP address? Who can tell me? The size of IP address is 32-bit. Clear? If I ask you what is the size of MAC address, size of MAC address will be, guys, 48 bits. Clear? So I hope you guys understand size of IP address is, guys, how much? 32 bits. So please remember this line. Second point. IP address is basically represented in a dotted decimal. It represents as a dotted decimal. Please remember, dotted decimal. Dotted decimal means, for example, if you are writing the IP address, guys, for example, I'm writing 10.0.0.1. Please do not read the IP address like 10.0.0.1. No. Getting my point? Never read the IP address like this. Fine. If you are reading the IP address like this, it shows your unprofessionalism. Clear? Understand? So please do not read the IP address like this. We are pronouncing this one as a dot, not IP. Clear? So guys, 10.0.0.1, that is the IP address. Clear na? And see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, in the IP address, whatever the IP address you are writing, 192.168.1.1. In your IP address, there are 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many parts are there, guys? There are 4 parts. Getting my point? And that is called octet. That is called, guys, octet. So please remember, in an IP address, there are how many octets are there, guys? There are 4 octets are there. In an IP address, there are how many octet? 4 octet are there. Please remember. Clear? And each octet is separated by dot. This is the dot. This dot is separating each octet. Getting my point? Everyone, it is clear. So please remember, in an IP address, total there are how many octet? There are 4 octet, and each octet is separated by dot. Clear, guys? Everyone, yes or no? Now, next one. IP address is made up of 2 things. Please remember, IP address is made up of 2 things. First one is called, or you can say, either you can understand like this, IP address is made up of 2 things, or either you can understand, in an IP address, there are 2 parts. How many part? 2 part. One part is called network part or network portion, and second part is called host portion. So please remember, IP address is made up of 2 parts. First part is called network portion, and second part is called host portion. Clear, guys? I hope you guys understand. Fine. Now, how can we assign the IP address on the machine? I told you there are 2 ways by which you can assign the IP address. There are 2 ways by which you can assign the IP address. First one is, guys, statically, and second one is called dynamically. Understand? If you are using the statically, I mean manually, right? Go to the device and assign the IP address. If you are assigning the IP address on the router, you go to the router's interface and write the command interface fast ethernet 0x0, and then you are writing the IP address 192.168.1.1, then provide the subnet mask. By this way, you assign the IP address on the router. Same way in the PC, right now. But if you want to assign the IP address dynamically, then there is a concept of DHCP. Clear, guys? Understand? Now, after all these things, one more thing you need to understand. There are 2 type of IP address. First one is called private IP, and second one is called public IP. There are 2 types of IP address. Private IP address and public IP address. Clear? Now, what do you mean by private IP address and public IP address? Private IP address means the IP address which we are using inside our which network? LAN network. Right? Generally, in our LAN network, we are using the private IP address. And public IP address means this address is routable over the internet. Or you can understand like this, towards the WAN, we are using the public IP address. Clear? That is the thing. First thing, private IP address is free of cost, but public IP address is paid. You need to purchase it from ISP. Clear, guys? I hope this is clear to all of you. Understand? And I already explained you these things also, why we are not using private IP address on WAN. I already give you the example. For example, on the Google is not accepting the private IP address. I already explained these things. Clear? Now, guys, one more thing. There are some types of IP address, or you can say there are some special IP address. Clear? I hope you guys understand about 255.255.255.255. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? This is called which address, guys? Broadcast address. This is called broadcast address. Understand, guys? This is called which address, guys? Broadcast address. Clear? Now, if I am writing one more address, for example, 127.0.0.1. 127.0.0.1. That is called which address, guys? That is called loopback address. That is called loopback address. What is the use of loopback address? What is the use of loopback address? Please understand. This is used for internal testing. That is used for internal testing. Clear, guys? Everyone, understand? Everyone. For example, I open my laptop CMD and if I am writing ping 127.0.0.1, I'm getting the reply. I'm getting the reply. Basically, when we are pinging 127.0.0.1, basically it is showing my laptop NIC card is working fine. There is no problem. Generally, these are the things we are testing. For example, if I'm writing ping 255.255.255.255, I'm not able to ping because if you are using the Windows device, in Windows device, this feature is almost blocked. Clear? Understand? Now, next thing, guys, I told you in an IP address, how many octet are there, guys? IP address consists total 4 octet. Total, how many octet, guys? Total 4 octets, right? Now, what is the size of total IP address? 32-bit. Total size of IP address is 32-bit, right? 1 octet, total how many octet are? 4 octet. For example, octet 1, octet 2, octet 3, octet 4. 4 octets are there. And every octets are separated by, for example, dot. And total size of IP address is 32-bit. Now, what is the size of each octet? Answer is 8-bit. 8, 8, 8, 8. So when you add all the 8, answer will be 32. Clear na? So please understand every octet size is, each octet size is, how much, guys? 8-bit. So please remember this one. Clear? Each octet size is 8 bits. Each octet size is how much, guys? 8 bits. Clear, guys? So 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus is total size of IP address will be 32. Clear? Now, next point you need to understand about the IP address. IP address is classified into different class. So please remember, in IP address is divided into different class. There is a concept of class A, class B, class C, class D, class E. So total 5 classes in the IP address. Clear, guys? Understand? Total how many classes in the IP address, guys? Total 5 classes in the IP address. Clear? Next thing, what do you mean by subnetting? Subnetting. This is the method. This is the method by which we can divide the big network into a smaller one or according to our requirement. That is the meaning of subnetting. Clear? Understand, everyone? Now, these are the basic things, guys, about the IP address. Clear? Now, come to the next point. I told you IP address is basically classified into different classes. Into different classes. Class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. Fine. But the thing is, we need to understand in every class what is the range. For every class, what is the range? For example, if you get the IP address 10.0.0.1, if you get the IP address 192.168.1.1, if you get the IP address 172.1.1.1, how can we identify this IP address belongs to which classes? How can we identify this IP address belongs to which classes? Getting my point? So if you want to understand, first of all, you need to understand the classes, and for different classes, what is the range? Getting my point, everyone? Yes or no? Clear? So come here, class A. First of all, there is a class A. So guys, for class A, the range is 1.0.0.0 to 126.255.255.255. That is the range of class A. That is the range of class A. Getting my point? For example, if now anyone asks you 10.0.0.1, if anyone telling you 224.0.0.1, If anyone asks you, tell me 1.1.1.1. If anyone asks you, tell me 2.0.0.1. So guys, basically all the IP address is comes under class A. All the IP address comes under class A. Getting my point? So that's the reason I told you have to memorize every class and what is the range of every class. Clear? Now come here guys, class B. Class B range is 128.0.0.0 to what is 191.255.255.255. That is the range of class B. Now class C. What is the range of class C guys? 192.0.0.0 to 223.255.255.255. That is the range for class C. 223.255.255.255. Now come here guys, class D. So for class D, what is the range? 224.0.0.0 to 239.255.255.255. That is class D. Now class E. For class E, 240.0.0.0 to again broadcast 255.255.255.255. So basically guys, this is the range for every class. Class A, class B, class C, class D and class E. Please understand these things. Clear? And one more thing you need to understand, in each octet, maximum value you can write, that is 250. How much guys? 255. For example, if I am writing the IP address 192.168.256.1, 192.168.300.5, these are not valid IP address. These are not valid IP address. What is the reason? See here, that is the octet 1, octet 2, octet 3, octet 4. This octet is fine. But in this octet, what is the value? 256. And what I told you, in each octet, maximum value you can write, that is 255. After 255, whatever the things you are writing, that IP address will be invalid. Fine. So that's the reason this IP address is invalid. Fine. This is IP address is also invalid. Maximum that will be guys 255 only. Clear guys? So basically guys, these are the classes for every, these are the classes of IP address. Class A, B, C, D, E. Clear? And for example, if you are using the class A IP address, generally there is a rule, class A IP address generally used in the large organization. Where guys? Large organization. I will prove you why. Basically, if you are using the class A IP address, there you will get the number of too much hosts in lakhs, million, billion hosts you guys will get here if you are using the class A IP address. So that's the reason generally big companies are using the class A. Class B guys, class B is generally used by medium size company. What is medium size company? Class C generally we are using for the small network. For the small network, for example, if there is a project or there is a client, and in this client the number of users is, for example, 124 under less than 200. So generally in this case, generally we are using the class C. There is no problem. Clear? And for your information, I want to tell you, generally we are using class A, B, C for the production. In the production environment, we are using class A, B and C only. Clear? Class D and E we are not using. Class D is used for the multicast. Class D is used for multicast. Whenever you see any IP address that start with the 224, for example, if you use the OSPF, if you use the EIGRP routing protocol, there you guys will see the IP address 224.0.0.5, 224.0.0.10. So please understand, this is the multicast address because this IP address is start with the 224. Clear? Now guys, class E IP address. Class E IP address is used for the experimental purpose, or you can say this is reserved for the future uses. This is reserved for the future uses. So guys, basically that is the class A, B, C, D, E. Clear? That is the classes of IP address. Understand everyone? I hope you guys understand. Clear? Now, after this guys, types of IP address. Guys, generally there are three types of IP address. First one is called reserved IP address. Second one is called private IP address. And the third one is called public IP address. There are three types of IP address: reserved, private, and public. Understand? There are three types of IP address: reserved, private, and public. Now, what do you mean by reserved? What do you mean by reserved IP address? Clear? Understand? See here, guys. Reserved IP address. What are those IP address that is reserved? What are those IP address that is reserved? Guys, so please remember, generally there are a couple of IP address that is reserved. For example, the IP address 127.0.0.0 to 127.255.255.255. Basically, that is called loopback IP address. Loopback IP address. That is reserved. That is reserved IP address. That is called reserved IP address. Clear? So that's the reason when you see the class A, I write from 1 to 126. And from class B, I write start with 128. Here 126 to 128. 127 is missing. Why? Because 127 is reserved. 127 is called reserved IP address. And this IP address is fully reserved for loopback test. Fully reserved for loopback test. Now, second one is, guys, 169.254.0.0 to 169.254.255.255. This IP address is also reserved. This range of IP address is also reserved. Getting my point, everyone? Basically, what is the use of this IP address? This IP address is reserved for link local address. What is link local address? Just understand one line. For example, if you are using the Windows device, for example, you are using the laptop, you are using the desktop. So how many ways by which your device can get the IP address? Only there are two ways. Either you assign the IP address manually, or either your device will get the IP address by DHCP, right? But for example, if there will be any scenario, and why, because of this scenario, your machine is not getting the IP address by DHCP and not statically. In this case, by default, your machine will get the IP address from link local range. From link local range. Getting my point? So that's the reason we can say that is called link local, because it is reserved. If your machine is not getting the IP address, this is the range of IP address. From this range, your machine will get the IP address. Clear now? So basically, this IP address is used for the communication on the local network segment without a DHCP server. Yes. Now, guys, the third one is called broadcast address. I told you broadcast address means, guys, 255.255.255.255. Right? So basically, that is called broadcast address. Broadcast address is also reserved. Broadcast address is also reserved, and this is used for broadcasting a message to all devices in your network. Clear? So basically, guys, these are the three range of IP address that is reserved that you need to memorize. Clear, guys? Understand? Now come here, guys, with the private IP address. What is private IP address? So private IP address means I told you there are three types of class A, class B, and C. And I told you for production and for real-time uses, we are using class A, B, and C, right? It means your device will get the IP address among these three classes, class A, B, C, class D, and E. From these classes, we are not assigning the IP address to any device. Clear now? So from class number A, what is the range of class A? If we are talking about class A, what is the range? This is the range 1.0.0.0 to 126.255.255.255. That is the complete range of class A. Please understand. That is the complete range of class A. Now, among this range, there will be a private and there will be a public. Again, I'm telling, from this range, there will be a private IP address and there will be a public IP address. Getting my point? Now, what is the private one? Private one is, guys, 10.0.0.0 to to 10.255.255.255. That is called private IP address. That is called private IP address range. Getting my point? So from class number A, only 10th network. Getting my point? That is called private IP address. Clear, guys? Everyone. And rest, all the network is called public. Is called public. Understand, guys? For example, if I'm writing, if I'm giving you 10.1.1.1, 12.1.1.1, 21.0.0.1. Now, if anyone asks you, could you please tell me something about this IP address? How can you say? First of all, you will say this IP address belongs to class A. Fine. Second thing, from class A, this IP address belongs to private range and these two belongs to public. I hope you guys understand these things. Is this clear, guys? Everyone? Yes or no? Understand? That is the class A. Now, guys, come to the next one. That is called class B. What is the complete range of class B, guys? 128.0.0.0 to how much? 191.255.255.255. That is the complete range of class B. Done. But among these ranges, there will be a network that is private and there will be a network that is public. But what is private? What is private? Private will be, guys, 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255. That is called private. And rest is called, guys, public. Rest is called public. Clear? Now come here from class number C. From class C, what is the range for class C, guys? 192.0.0.0 to how much? 223. To 223.255.255.255. That is the complete range of class C. Now, again, there will be a private. What is the private, guys? Again, same 192.168.1.0. 1.0 to 192.168.255.255. That is called private and rest is called public. Clear? And for public IP address, I already told you, you have to purchase this IP address from ISP. You have to purchase this from ISP. Clear, guys? I hope this is clear to everyone.